So when I talk about sport, when I talk about school, when I talk about parents, this helicopter, living vicariously through your kid, setting expectations, you're hindering them from their own greatness. And people don't realize that because you have an agenda for what? To fulfill your own ego? We have fallen to this place of mediocrity and allowing our children to fall to this. Mental illness is at an all-time high. 1 in 5 kids are obese. Suicide rate, 1 in 4 kids are killing themselves. If you don't see the conviction in my eye, I'm not stopping. I am Cleopatra on her fucking horse to save as many kids as I can. I teach this. You are not correcting behavior, you're shaping greatness. Get out of your own head. Stop overthinking. You know what you want for your child. If I showed you the intake forms in my academy and what's happening right now, 99.9% is I want my kids to be happy, but I'm fucking it up.
Welcome to Cake for Dinner. This is not your everyday mom podcast. We laugh, we curse, we tell the truth, and we're here to ditch the perfection culture. Today's guest is Lauren Majors. She's a mom of 4, entrepreneur, CEO, author, speaker, and the creator of the Happy Life System. She's built successful businesses from the ground up, written a parenting book, and helps families raise world-ready kids using a practical, everyday system that actually works in real life. Lauren Majors, welcome to Cake for Dinner. So I think before we jump into the system, because I really want to get into that, which I feel like it's so useful for parents, especially today, maybe just take a few minutes to let the listeners know who you are.
Fully loaded. Okay, so who am I? Just dropping into this, first and foremost, for all the listeners out there, I just want to give my grace and gratitude for someone like you to forge ahead and open up a space to have conversation. I think conversation in this world of fakeness is so important for people to tap into authenticity, what's real. And I just want to thank you for having a show like this where we can come on, share our truth, hope it resonates, right? Impact and inspire. So my story's rich. I'd like to say like the survivor rebel, and, was given an incredible assignment this lifetime. And so when I came into the world, challenges, trials, and tribulations from, my childhood was, pushed into this external living. And the external living was, all the glitz and all the beautiful things on the outside, but never connected to who I am on the inside. And I think there's 2 parts of life, right? There's the part of distraction where people are chasing, where they're like, we need the scholarship, we need the medal, we need the college degree, we need all of these things, but they're missing the part of mastery. And so for me, as a young girl, I was missing the living principles, the foundation. How do I walk in this world? What's the path that guides the guardrails of my life? And so fast forward into adulthood, full ride scholarship, soccer. You guys can't see how tall I am, but I'm like 5'0".
Tiny, she's tiny.
I was a forward. They used to liken me to like the Maradona. I'm Argentinian, so half Argentinian, so fast. And, I built my way up, but the sport gave me a foundation that I feel like people are missing today. And it's the resilience, it's the courage to fail and get back up. It's the opportunity to be able to say, yes, I can. And I know I'm going to fall. Right? So for me, everybody on the outside, right? You're 5-0. How are you going to make it? I'm like one of the number 1 players in Southern California, recruited out. And the sport gave me the backbone of discipline. And that traveled into my career, which was I will do whatever it takes.
So did you grow up with, did your parents insist that you played a sport? Is that something that you advocate for other parents?
Yeah, God. Gratitude, first and foremost, always at the forefront. Gratitude for what I went through and endured. Was it the right way of teaching from a place of leadership from my parents? Absolutely not. It was the newspaper articles. It was the scholarship. It was look at me from an ego standpoint.
Right. So the motive might not have been great, but you gained from it.
Right.
Discipline.
Right. And I'm grateful for that.
Right.
So when I look at my own kids, in sport, I have to ensure that they are aligned to the passion first. If they are waking up every morning wanting to pick up the racket, wanting to they're in alignment. It's not going to come from me living vicariously through my children. So when I talk about sport, when I talk about school, when I talk about parents, this helicopter, living vicariously through your kid, setting expectations, you're hindering them from their own greatness. And people don't realize that because you have an agenda for what? To fulfill your own ego? Mm-hmm. Because every child comes to the earth with a life purpose, right? So when I look at what I endured, am I grateful? Yes. Did I create characteristics in my life that I could utilize? Absolutely. But there was an aspect of my childhood that was stolen from me. Mm-hmm. So now I'm 21 as an adult going, what the fuck am I doing here?
Right. Yeah.
I don't play soccer anymore, so who am I? My identity was wrapped up in the ego state of when I score goals, people like me. Mm-hmm. When I score goals, my parents give me money. When I score, everything was based on that. So strip that back. What happens? And that's why I feel like, not to get off on a tangent, but so many college athletes, and believe me, I have, pro athlete friends, there is a major crisis of mental illness and depression.
Oh, for sure.
Because when your sport's gone,
right.
Who are you?
Well, also, I think even if, to make it more relatable to everybody, I think when your worth is tied to anything that's fleeting, 100%. You're in trouble, right?
100%.
I mean, if your worth is tied to your body, if you're an athlete or you just think that being fit is the answer, if your worth is even tied to being a mom, I mean, at some point your kids grow up, right? So
100%.
I always think that your worth needs to be tied to something that is lasting,
Well, and also in alignment with self, right?
Right.
So like, what are we chasing? And getting into like my system and my story, but everybody's chasing something. And if you deny that, you're in complete denial. Okay. I don't care if you're an athlete. I don't care if you're a CEO. I don't care if you're an executive. What are you chasing? There's an obsession that you're chasing. And so for me, when I really got clear with it, I realized that I was chasing so much in my sport that everything was tied to success, because success to me was worthiness. Mm. And when I fell short, I wasn't okay with that. Mm-hmm. So my identity was wrapped up in results.
Right.
I wasn't aligned to self, whether I fall, whether I slip
Which would
up.
have looked like what more?
True alignment, and this is the work that I've done. I mean, I've been on the spiritual journey for 15 years, and to get back to my story, at 21 years old, I met my husband. I adopted 2 kids at 22. I was in corporate America. I had 2 more kids by the time I was 25.
Wow.
Left corporate America. This isn't for me. I build my empire. I'm in charge of my destiny. And I take 100% accountability for my life in every single thing that I do ever since I was little. So getting into alignment to me was the most important thing. What I realized is I was unconsciously taking the programs of my childhood and bringing them into the fold of my adulthood. Mm-hmm. And I needed to interrupt that pattern.
So did parenting your own 4 children really sort of highlight that for you?
I would say the most important thing was I wanted to break the cycle. Mm-hmm. And I would do whatever it took to break the cycle. Whether that was open the door and look at myself in the mirror and be like, I don't like that girl. Whether it was, I'm replicating this pattern in this program. I remember when my kids, I think they were like my babies. My one baby was 1, and I was still pregnant. And I was in the kitchen in my house. And I've always had these awakening moments of my life where it's like, what movie is this? This isn't my movie. This isn't my story. And I remember it's me and my husband, and we're slaving. There's 20 people at the house, family, right? It's Thanksgiving. It's amazing. Everybody come over, watch football, all this stuff. Me and my husband are cooking all the things. He's doing the dishes. I got the baby in the bajorn. And there was a moment in my life where I stopped. And I'm like, whose fucking program is this?
Right.
I don't want to repeat this program. This isn't fun to me. This isn't supporting. This isn't fun. And I realized I am perpetuating this Thanksgiving program that doesn't align with me and my core values.
Because why? Like, what about that day and that moment?
It's fake.
So it's the performative.
It's fake. It's like we do these things. We have these Hallmark holidays. We have these Christmas holidays. We invite family members over, but we don't even like them. We don't even have authentic, real relationship. But yet we put on a mask. Why?
what if you're a family that's loving and great and happy and you're...
Then it's a different construct. So you're living
Right.
in a different program that aligns to you.
Right.
So in that moment, I started going through every program of my life. What is running here? Is it a program that aligns with me and where I want to take my family? What is running here in my business? Is it everything on a micro level? And that's why my whole entire system is micro skills, micro habits, micro systems. Because I believe systematically humans need routines and habits, language, and a construct they live in.
But you believe they should be aligned with you. And this is where I think your message is very different.
Yeah.
Is you're not going to walk with the mass, right? So you're going to lead with what you believe in, what aligns with you. And I think you're a born leader, right? Because a lot of people want that for themselves, but they're stuck in the thing of their kid's going to go to college because everyone else's is. They're going to do these things because everyone else is doing that. I think that that's a huge part of our parenting culture now, right? People are just doing what's supposed to happen next. I do think when I grew up, it was a little different. Parenting was more of an individual sport, if you will.
Yeah.
Now everybody's doing the same shit. And when you don't, you feel it. So
I think that, yes, but I also think it's a level of consciousness. And I'm one of the deepest people you're probably going to meet on your podcast. I mean, I look like I am here for wisdom. What is it that we're chasing?
Right, but you're brave enough to chase it. Is the difference.
That is because, they always call me because I'm like the fearless lion. Like, for instance, like my boys, I'll say their name. They're like, yes, mom. Like they know when I come in a room, it's I expect extraordinary. And I think the number one thing for me is I am not going to use my life experience to go through the motions. I'm not going to robotically go through the motions. If I don't want to do something, you'll know about it. If my husband does something, he'll know about it. Right? I built my inner strength based off the trials and tribulations I went through as a child because I didn't have that. So once I started to catch on to, I am the master of self. I am the master of my life. I'm the master of my thinking. My thoughts create my reality. Whoa. So if I just shift the lens a little bit here, why would I hang around people that don't honor and respect me during Thanksgiving?
Yeah, just like a weird strategy.
That doesn't make sense in my brain.
But do you leave room for bad days, not feeling disciplined? Like
Absolutely not.
Wow.
My level of peak, and my husband's in the studio, when you're around me, you have to stay at peak. Like even when I'm on my moon cycle or my menstrual, like I will, and he's like, you need to relax. Like it's gonna be okay. You don't need to read a book. I have this thing that lives within me of maximization of this life. So I believe in the magic. I believe in the unfoldment. I believe that every day, whether it's a challenging day, it's an opportunity to create from. It's so temporary, this existence. And that's why I say, like, even drawing back to that Thanksgiving, I remembered, like, if I die tomorrow, this moment doesn't fulfill me.
Right. So you're all about maximizing the moments of life.
Everything.
And just the entire
And that's
experience.
my entire slogan is like, find the joy in everything you do, because when you don't, you're dropping your vibration into a lower field. And this is where people don't fully understand. I don't care if it's sport. I don't care if it's success. I don't care whatever it is. The fulfillment is coming through in that micro moment. And the micro moment is, even if it's a challenge, it's a perspective. So challenge in business, right? I would walk out of meeting with billionaires, and me and my husband, we had the best time because it was just me and him out of our garage. We started our company literally out of our house, raising 4 kids, commission only. Not $1 was given to us. We'd go to New York and we'd meet with these clients. And like, we would kick each other under the table. Like, you take lead, I take lead, right? Because we didn't, like, energetically, we're figuring out energetically, right? Once our company started to take off, there were moments where I would sit inside meetings and I would look at them and I would say, I really appreciate it, but we're not a good fit. And I'd walk out. It was the perspective in that micro moment that I wanted to maximize. I was not there just to get a contract. I wanted to create a win-win relationship with the client where I was honored and respected. That's being in your power. That's being aligned.
So you're just required to be treated a particular way or to.
But no. Their choice is their choice. They could do whatever they want. I don't.
But as it relates to you.
But as it relates to me and in business, I would walk away from business because my perspective was, this doesn't align with me.
Right.
And there's something really good for me out there. So it was like everything that I did, if we didn't get a contract, it wasn't for us. That was just, it was a sentence that sat on my desk.
Right.
I wasn't chasing.
Right.
It wasn't meant to be. Right. Always looking at it from an opportunistic standpoint, optimism, positivity. Right. Because they're whether you want to say it's woo or not, there's a law. It's a law. Like when you mentally focus on positivity, right? Your outlook is anchored in gratitude and appreciation. Scientifically, you're a happier person. What is happiness? Peace.
So I'm with you. I'm changing everything after we leave here. But what I'm wondering is, where is the room for compassion, or like if somebody is struggling, like how do you, so your perspective is always to move towards gratitude.
Always.
Which then moves towards a bit of a different perspective, which then moves towards different feelings.
So the struggle and the pain is where the gold is. Mm-hmm. That's what people don't realize.
Tell me about that.
So we don't escape the struggle. We get into the struggle. Let's pull up the roots there. What's underneath that? Right? That's the...
You were just not afraid.
You lift it up. You look at the cobwebs. You lift it up because you're holding on to what? You're holding on to something that's inhibiting you from elevation. So if I look at the struggle, for example, and for all the moms out there listening to this, my moon cycle, I call it my moon cycle, right? Everyone gets this once a month.
Not for those of us who are past that stage of life, Lauren.
Lucky no. I was never taught these principles when I was younger. It was put a tampon in it, take an Advil, go play soccer, don't deal with it. Your moon cycle is how a woman aligns and is the core alignment of who we are as creators of this planet. I had to reteach myself to love and honor the pain every single month. And for my family, compassion. They would get me tea. They'd get me the heating pad. I was down. And I made it a point, I'm not going to struggle with this. I'm going to do the work to heal myself from the inside out. I started tapping. I started doing my meditations. I started drinking my teas. Well, guess what? I healed my moon cycle. So the struggle is what I needed to get in touch with myself, to come back home to myself. Because it's so much easier to take an Advil, isn't it?
Yes. I always see it like, monks, I think they hit that big dong.
Yeah. We had the monks stay at our house here in Laguna.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's a story.
I like to think about that when I have a hard time, is that instead of it being a hard time, it's a dong to like get to sort of like highlight what's happening, to invite me.
If you're open and receptive.
Right. To invite me to probably a next level of myself that I haven't met yet.
That's it, because we're on an ascension path.
Right.
So if we look at our lives as a value ladder, right? We say stuck and limited in the construct of a 3D matrix, right? Where we expect people to pay us money every month. We can only take 2 weeks vacation. We're in this lower vibration. Now, if we want to go to that next vibration, we have to take accountability and responsibility. That's with everything we do, right? So it's a choice. My dog was just sick. I looked at it. I didn't drop into fear. I said, okay, what is the opportunity showing me here? There's something that she wants to ascend to. It's my perspective to go, okay, I'm going to cry because I'm scared, but now I'm going to figure out how to ascend through this experience.
Okay.
I met 2 vets. They said it's $20,000. I went on a deep dive search, 2.5 hours. Guess what? I found a vet. The back end of the numbers were 777. I said, what's the dog trying to show me? You're on the universal path. Great. I go in to meet the vet. Scott Ryan. Scott is my kid's uncle. Ryan's my son's name. Okay, universe. Next, I come in, Dr. Gold. Okay? Comes in, grabs the thing, says, I got it, 45 minutes. It was $3,000. Intention.
Right.
Stop, pause, intention, align. That's like my thing.
I love that. I like that you give that story though, because sometimes you lead with so much confidence that I think people would be left wondering, do you ever struggle? Are you ever sad, scared, nervous, mad?
I wouldn't say I am fragile as fuck. I am.
So it's more what you do with this.
Yes.
Rather.
It's the shift.
I feel like that's super important because I think, especially with social media and this world of clips,
Yes.
right? You watch a clip of you, you lead with so much confidence. I'm thinking, shit, my kids are fucked up. You know what I mean?
But I lead with that confidence because I'm a survivor. I'm a living demonstration of what's possible because I took accountability and responsibility. So when you see my eyes, no one gave me a handout. Right? I raised my kids. My kids are 24 to 13 by myself with my husband. I didn't have family. No one helped us. I had hired staff. Right? People took advantage of us left and right. People stole from us. Like the stories of triumph. My husband's like, you could get knocked down 500 times, but you are the most resilient woman I have ever met. And that's where I say, like, I am so fragile. I cry. I am intimate in that space of like, I am an empath, but my courage, my roar is the love. And the love is to rattle you to a point for you to take accountability and responsibility. Because once you do, your life unfolds into endless possibility.
And I love this because I think we're living in a time where there's so much soft delivery and opportunity for mediocrity.
That's it.
You know, and you're just not fucking around, right? You're just leading with that's a bad strategy. And here's my strategy. Here's where it works. And I love highlighting the backstory because it makes so much sense.
And it's important because people don't recognize on the day to day. And I remind my kids every day, out of 14 trillion eggs, sperm, you made it. You fucking made it. What are you going to do with it? So mediocrity, if you want to be asleep, right? If you want, that's your choice. But I came into this world going, no one's going to dictate my path. Like I get to go take a vacation when I want. I get to go to Vegas when I want. I love blackjack. I get to drink whatever wine I want. Why? Because I didn't make excuses. And so when we're talking about parenting and raising kids, the challenge is that we have fallen to this place of mediocrity and allowing our children to fall to this. Mental illness is at an all-time high. 1 in 5 kids are obese. Suicide rate, 1 in 4 kids are killing themselves. If you don't see the conviction in my eye, I'm not stopping. I am Cleopatra on her fucking horse to save as many kids as I can. Because what happened to me, I don't want to see perpetuated in society. So it's coming from a rich place of the struggle. And my struggle is what brought me into this place of conviction. So when I think about kids, we come and bare naked to this world. It's our environments, our values, it's what's put on us that creates this program. And so when I have my clients or whatever, anything in my world is possible. And that's what I inspire people to believe. Right? There's no making excuses in my world. If you have an illness, it's there for a reason. Center, align, listen, tap in, right? Life is not happening to us, it's happening for us. These are all my mottos.
Once you really
right?
start to buy into that concept, life does get a little different. You know, I think I always believe, I try to remind myself, I'm already safe at home in bed all the time.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Prior to that deep belief, life is fearful. You know, until you really get connected and you understand that life isn't happening to you but for you.
But remember, the ego is there to protect. So when you look at, and I've studied with the greats, you're talking about like the wisdom chest within me. Look at the animal kingdom, right? Survival, fight, or fight. We were born with the ego. The ego is there to protect us. It's when the ego takes over, we edge God out and we're not living in faith. We're not living in trust. We're not living in love. So the ego is good, but don't let the ego flare up so much that you create your abyss and now you're scared of everything. You can't live like that. There's no way that you're going to be, in alignment or happy or feel the magic, right? So the thing is fear is there to entrap us to stay in a certain state of consciousness, right? You know how many times I look in the mirror, I'm like, good try. That was a really good try. Keep me scared. right? Like I have all these things that I do every day. When I'm in the car driving by myself, I'll bring the mirror down. I'm like, oh, really? You're going to try to scare me? No, you're not. Good try. Pick on somebody else. Pick on someone weaker. It comes up over and over, but you got to knock that down. One of the greats, Joseph McClendon, he's the right hand of Tony Robbins, and I'm sure some of the listeners know about him. He actually lives here in Orange County. He was homeless. He was beat with a baseball bat. He had brain damage. And he went and saw Dr. Abel, an amazing, Dr. Abel, I don't know what his full name is, but he's here in Newport too. He retrained his brain. He had so much damage from being beat up, he's a Black man, that he literally retrained his brain through positive affirmation, through law of vibration, through all of that. It's science, but I say that all to say because he had this mentality of, I will not give in to this undertow of fear and let this rule my entire existence. Mm-hmm. So that accountability piece, and he talks about the monster in our minds. Mm-hmm. And he says, if you let the monster get bigger and bigger and bigger, it's gonna take over. And that's the fear monster.
I think in large part, this, concept is how people get through really, really difficult stuff. You know, I mean, unless you have a little bit of this, overcoming real trauma.
Yeah. We all have trauma.
Right.
Right. But again, it's your relationship to the trauma. Mm-hmm. So for every listener, when you're listening to me speak, I want you to imagine whatever you're going through right now, the hardest part of your life. What is your relationship? How are you framing your language? How are you thinking about it? Are you thinking about it, woe's me, I'm the victim? Or are you thinking about, I have solutions. Mm-hmm. I could create opportunities here. There's two ways to take everything. So it's your relationship to the trauma that's creating that bubble of fear or bubble of optimism, I would say.
Right. And purpose too. I mean, I've had enough of my own trauma to know that, I can remember probably like a year after my husband had died of a drug overdose, I was, obviously very sad, but also, concerned about how I was going to raise my kids. I had 2 3-year-olds at the time. About a year into that, I can remember literally where I was sitting, and I thought, I don't want to be defined by this for the rest of my life. Good. Like, I don't want to lead with this. I was tired of talking about it, and, it was leading me,
So good. But that's a state of awareness. So your aligned self is going, wow, I've just realized that I've given all my power away to this circumstance that I can't change. That's a state of consciousness.
And then I think when you take it further, which I'm grateful that I did, to give back and to help other people, right? Then the whole thing, like to your point, that the things aren't happening to you, they're happening for you. Now when I look back on that entire experience, my entire life makes sense, right? It just all led me to my higher purpose, which I believe is giving back.
100%. You're a healer.
Helping other people.
Yeah, but also like another thing that's really deep, and I'm just gonna go there, is every human being's on their own journey of life. Right. Like you can't actually save someone. You can't take away their pain.
That's tough as a mom.
You can't. And this is why I teach this. You gotta let them fall. Like, as hard as it is, I wanna step in, I wanna give them a hug, and I've done it, right? Like, we can't take away anyone's pain. They have to do it themselves. It's an internal thing.
I would say this is kind of how I came to follow you. I was not doing this very well. That's one of my biggest struggles. I think probably I've tied to the story that my children's father died and like this concept, right? Especially for my older son. And I would rob him of the experience of falling over and over until he didn't trust himself, and we've had to
I have a little bit of that
to,
with you too, because, I adopted my older boys, and I find myself, I'm strong as fuck. Like they know like values, skills, but I find myself wanting to fix a little bit more. Like I just want to help a little bit more. I want to give them that nudge a little bit more. Like, how do you feel here? Are you okay? And it's like, my husband's like, stop trying to fix them, And I think it's because
hard.
that loss and that lack, right? Because I raised them, they're warrior men, they're exceptional human beings, but I still see that little hole. Mm-hmm. And even to this day, my son's 24, I'm like, the other day I was like, why doesn't he just come work for our company? My husband's like, stop. And it made me realize, wow.
Yeah.
But as a human, you want to love, you want to save,
And you get in pain as a mom if you do that enough.
But it's weird because my little ones, like what you see, like my daughter's like, I fell. I'm like, yeah, and?
It depends on the kid a little bit. I was the same way. I was the same way with my daughter. And as a result, I have twins, right? So you can watch, you can measure, you can watch.
Yeah.
I coddled him and I didn't coddle her.
Yeah.
Right? By fourth grade, we're going on vacation. She's packing her own bag. She's doing her own thing. I was laying out his clothes, Yep. And I think, I was going through a hard time. So I gained some like good feeling from that. Yeah. I also simultaneously taught him that he's not capable. Right.
Well,
so like we had to work backwards.
We're enabling. And that's where people like,
I was like wearing the crown of enabling.
It's, like you don't realize. And I think this is the honest to God truth is as a mother, when you bring children into this world, as they grow up, there is a state of loss at levels. Like just a year ago, I said, I want to have another baby because the act of serving, the act of nurturing, it brought me so much joy.
Yes.
And so when I was going into serving and helping them and whatever, I felt a sense of fulfillment for myself, almost coming from an agenda. Like when I do this, I feel so good. You know what I mean?
Once you see that, you can't unsee
right?
it. You know what I mean?
No. Once you see it, you're like, oh shit, this is me.
Now when my husband will look at me like I'll be going up the stairs to bring my son like food, and he's like, what? He's like, what are you doing? I'm like, just let me do it.
I love you.
I like it.
Just for one time.
Like, just please. But great. I think I do want to get to your system. I think all of this is so relatable for moms. And I wanted to have you on because I think so much of us are falling short in this area. So I really want to break the system down into a few things. I want people to hear this podcast and come away with it with a few things that they can start immediately.
100%.
Also, asking for a friend. If you have a kid that's already 12 and you're not doing these things, I want to be able to go home today too and start a few things.
Yeah,
so
of course.
Let me,
and I just want to anchor back in really quick. And I know you're going to look at this, but like, when you look at my Instagram page, when you look at what I've built, the truth that I'm spreading and, my account is 100 million views in 10 months, did I ever, it's tried, true, and tested. And this is why you see me come with so much strength, because I have raised humans from the early stage of life all the way into adulthood. So you're not talking to somebody that's like, I got a 2, 3, 4, 5 years old and I created a parenting book. No.
Right.
This is lab coat, armor, tried, trusted, true, going in the kitchen going, it's fucking working.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
It's hard-earned wisdom.
This is the wisdom I'm passing on with the world. Like, do this, really do this, pay attention to this, and watch this change. That's what's happening in my academy. And I'll tell you the stories and stuff, but we're talking a week language shift that I teach. I have entire scripts and languages and everything. Like, it's a body of work like Montessori or Waldorf school that I've built over the past 7 years. And I wanted to build A to Z, a foundation to implement in your home for every single day.
I'm so excited about this. When you talk about the Happy Life System, what are the core skills you're really trying to teach kids beyond good behavior? Like if you had to break it down.
Oh, you don't need to ask me again. Master thyself first. When you master yourself, you master life. This is where parenting, we talk about our parents. They were doing the best they could. They were da-da-da-da-da. Master thyself first. Why are there 8 pillars? My home pillar, mastery of your space. Your body pillar, the mastery of your health. Your mind pillar, the mastery of your thinking. Your peacetime pillar, the mastery of harmony, mindfulness. Right? Your courage pillar, the mastery of your power. Master thyself first.
Meaning the parent master their self or the kid master their self?
You asked me kid, so
Correct.
This is actually
interesting. I want to
interesting.
make sure we're...
So child, so my intention of building this, so remember I'm 25, going, what did I need as a little girl? I had the accolades, okay? I had the scholarship.
And you had some discipline.
I had the discipline. Why was I out in nightclubs drinking all night and doing crazy things? Like what was it? And it was the foundational skills, habits, and responsibilities that anchored me into my daily practices. Wake up in the morning, for example, right? Go grab the iPad, go grab the digital phone, boom, consciousness is hijacked. Master your health, you go and you have a Pop-Tart, right? Before soccer practice, all of these things. So later in my adulthood, I'm going, what are these complications going on with my body? I'm like, if a child could start to master themselves, right, with these skills, we embed this code, 22 days to form a habit, 66 days for it to become behavioral, becomes their lifestyle. If it becomes their lifestyle and they're mastering themselves and they walk in the world, now they're walking in alignment. We see a different world. We don't see all the frustration. We don't see all the anger. We don't see all the killings and all the shootings, right? So that was my core intention. Is I want to build an everyday system for my children to have anchors, morning, midday, evening. So when they come home, they know exactly where they're going.
Now, if you break this down morning, midday, evening, so master thyself. So if we're breaking the morning down, what do you think are, if you could only implement 2 for my life and my home, what 2 would you pick?
Okay, so morning foundation is the most critical foundation of your entire existence. And I'm talking about like your life work, okay? So anchoring your morning is where you get the launch pad for your entire day. Foundationally, mastering your space. You can't master your space, you can't master life. There's critical science behind making your bed, mastering your space. Chaotic space, chaotic mind. Clear the clutter. Look at feng shui, 30,000 years of ancient principles. Master your space first. So you wake up, my kids, our home, you make your bed. Not only do you make your bed, you give gratitude to the bed that you make. So you're saying out loud, I am grateful for the bed because this is where I spend half of my life. Intentionality, awareness, right? We're not just making our bed because it's a chore. We're making our bed with the what, how, and the why. This is my happy method. What is it? We make our bed. How do we do it? We fluff the pillows. We give gratitude. Why do we do that? Why do we do that? We do that because that's where we spend half of our life and manifest our dreams. And we're so grateful to even have a bed.
I like that because one could argue if you have a cleaning person, they're going to make the bed and you're still not going to be cluttered. But then you're not giving gratitude.
I have a full-time housekeeper that lives on my property.
Right. But
she doesn't make their beds.
It goes so much deeper than the act of making the bed.
This is a living principle.
Right.
So there's things that Rosa does to support the house.
Sure.
And then there's the Happy Life system that my kids have embedded code as their system. That's a part of our values.
And does everyone in your house buy into it?
If you came into our home, people that interview me, people that have done, this is going to be a reality show, you wouldn't believe how our home operates. Joy, rhythm, harmony, love. We wake up in the morning, we're playing reggae. Everybody's doing their gratitude journal. Everyone's drinking their green juice. My son's rebounding outside on the trampoline. It's because the principles work, right? So it keeps you at a higher state.
So they get up in the morning.
Yes.
My kids are in big trouble when I get home.
So who's this lady you had on your podcast? Dang it.
So they get up in the morning and making the bed is one we're taking away for sure.
And you're saying every listener, I want you to think about this. And this is backed by science. When you give a human the why, which is control of the experience, the education, the higher purpose of why they do the things they do, there's a positive reward loop that takes place in your brain. It's a dopamine effect. People want to know why they do the things they do. That's really interesting.
So why are they making the bed?
So now you're asking your son, hey, how does making your bed feel? And he's like, well, it looks like, okay, now let's mess up the bed. Let's make it all messy. I did this with my kids when they were like 1 and 2. Make it all messy. How does that feel? They're like, I don't like it. Okay, why don't you like it? Because it just doesn't look nice. It doesn't make me feel like I want to come in my room. Okay, let's take that further. Why? Right? So you're going into the deeper meaning. Again, we talked about the first part of this podcast. I am intention, root, depth, right? So we're getting them to percolate their curiosity around a micro skill and habit. So now it's not coming from you anymore. Go make your bed, go make your bed, go make your bed. You've now had a conversation around why it's important for him to make his bed. So he starts to embody this. So he's like, oh, I just told my mom I make my bed because of this. And when I don't, I feel like this. Okay, so this is important to us. You know? So the life benefit, and that's my happy method. I always talk about the life benefit. Your bed is where you heal and you manifest your dreams and you spend half of your life. Why wouldn't you want to be grateful for it? If gratitude is a byproduct of happiness and more peace in your life, why wouldn't we instill this value in their life?
Okay, so we've made the bed. What's the second?
Number 1 is gratitude journal. Number 2 is gratitude journal and positive affirmations. So my kids look in the mirror every day. If I showed you what my son does in the shower, it would absolutely blow your mind. He is writing in the steam all of his manifestations. It's a list of 20 things. He's been doing it for 5 years. I am strong. I am powerful. I can do this. I'm going to be a professional tennis player. The law of manifestation, when he starts to believe these things start to become a reality. So affirmation, I am, is the most positive statement you can teach your child.
And then the gratitude list, do they write it down?
So the gratitude journal. So my gratitude journal is actually, I launched one on Amazon. So I have a gratitude journal for young leaders.
Okay.
And it's literally like just a page, and they write like, it has, you know, I have like 8 different models or, you know, activities for them to do.
Yep.
But they'll literally write down like, I am this. Okay, what do I want to do today? What is my goal for today? And it's micro. It's so micro. But the system is literally up, make their bed, into the shower, purify their body, brush their teeth. Me and my husband, and he's sitting here, we do not ask them to do one thing. It's now their lifestyle because it's an embedded code.
Was it ever difficult? Were
No,
any of the 4
my
kids...
entire system is gamified. So that's a thing. I invented a gamified system. So think about like Pokemon Go.
Yes.
Right? So you have life on the board, life off the board. And these are my students right now. They're like, oh my God, this is working. The kids are loving it. Everything I do is in the play state. When you're in the play state, you learn 3 times faster. So it's not just a foundational system where you need to do chores. It's gamified. So
meaning
now,
what?
Meaning I've built
rewards.
I've built it in a structure where you get points, you level up, you level down, you get power boosts, you get this, you get that. So it's simultaneously working with the kids. And, you know, studies show in business and, you know, whenever you gamify things, it creates more joy.
I'm a huge advocate for gamifying.
So
I mean, I've been gamifying my daughter since, she's 19 and sometimes I'm like, are we still rewarding her? But
because we have our own boards.
Yes.
So like we'll cook dinner and the kids will be like, hey, 10 celebration points. I call them celebration points. I don't call them rewards. Celebration, when you're in a celebratory state, you're a happier person. It's proven.
And what do the points equal?
Monetary, non-monetary. I have family operating agreements in my system. I have value contracts. Everything I do is value and contribution. Everything. If there's one takeaway I'm going to teach you today, don't ever give your child a handout without value and contribution. Ever.
So they want money on their game.
They want money on their game. Energy input. What's the energy you're bringing to create the output in your life? It's not grades. It's not scoring goals. What is the value and contribution you're going to bring to this family in your life that would create the output?
I love that.
I have contracts. My daughter wanted a horse. Created a contract. She saved for 7 years. She bought her own horse. I said, this dad and I are going in 50-50.
I mean, now that is some long, like some not immediate gratification, 7 years.
Well, think about it.
I mean,
she's 10 years old. These horses are $50,000,
Right.
$40,000. There's no way.
But kids today, I can't picture any of them staying in the game for 7 years.
Well, that's on the parent. Hold them accountable.
Right.
You want a promotion at your job? You don't just get to come and work and be a CEO. You got to climb the ladder.
Right.
That's what we're doing here. I worked in the mailroom. I built my life. I learned patience. Why?
So your kids,
we're living in a society now. Amazon comes to the front door, and we have to be careful of it too.
Sure.
Right?
Naturally.
It's just like
tough.
instinct. You know, I love me some DoorDash.
Right. Right.
Like,
yes.
I don't want to, like, sometimes I don't want to go to the store. Like, I get that, you know?
Right.
But when it comes to parenting, you have to have anchors. This is where the chaos creeps in. Because if you're not teaching your child value and contribution, what is the byproduct of that? Entitlement, right? Spoiled kids. They don't understand the value. So what you're doing is you're saying, like, even with Peyton for 7 years, right? You know, she's going to the biggest jumping show. It's been 7 years. She has not gone to a show. Do you know how much it costs to get into an equestrian show? $4,000. She's 15 years old. Could you imagine if I just said, yeah, sure, go to the show? No perspective.
Right.
That I can't raise kids like that. I can't. I don't want any more
What if
assholes running
somebody's
around.
listening and they are raising a kid like that and they listen to you and they totally buy in, they feel it, and they want to make changes? Is it too late?
No. My entire system is a personal development system. I always talk about this. I have a 70-year-old grandpa in my academy right now. He's doing the work. He's changing his legacy. He's bringing in his kids. His kids are 30 years old. He's like, I can't believe that this is even possible. The point is that if you don't believe it as a parent, you're never going to create the reality.
Right.
So, hey, you know what, guys? I just want to take full responsibility here. What I've done, I don't feel aligned to anymore. I want to set you up for success in the best way that I can. So moving forward, it's your language. How are you framing it? It's not like, oh, we got a new system and you're going to... No, we're building teamwork, connection, and collaboration. So when you're talking to your kids, you're like, hey, I want to build you up so that you could be successful in life.
Yes.
There's so much here, and I know you're processing.
I'm processing, and I also want to make it, digestible for people who aren't doing it, right?
Yeah.
Because I think most parents listening would agree with you. It's more about how to implement it.
Right.
Do you subscribe to video games? Like, do you allow any time for any things like that? So obviously it's controversial and people know they're terrible, but do you allow for any of it in your house?
It's going to be a hell to the no.
Okay, what about any?
Again, you're talking about a state of consciousness. I am so meticulous about what I let into my home that you have to pause the commercials if you're watching a basketball, a football. I am that micro. May cause diarrhea, constipation, vomit. You think I want that in my house? That's a frequency, right? A video game, YouTube. You have to think about it.
Do they have cell phones?
My daughter's 15. She has a cell phone, right? She knows it's only to contact us or whatever. But at the end of the day, for me, we had a value contract with her where it was like, this is what it is. Parker doesn't. Parker's 13. My older boys got phones when they were 16. Mm-hmm. So Peyton's 15 now. But I mean, I'm very, I don't want to say this to scare the listeners, but you got to tune in on what's happening to our kids right now. Mm-hmm. And it's my number one responsibility. In those video games, I have a video going viral right now. Again, I own a media company. I was in with the CEOs of Gucci. Mm-hmm. I was in with the CEOs of these tech companies. There is an agenda, an attack on our children. It's a hard no. And that's just what it is.
I think most people also agree with that. I think where parents struggle is when your kid wants to do something that all the other kids are doing. I homeschool, so I don't have that experience as much, but I do think other parents struggle with that. What do you say to that?
What's your values? Stand in your power. What's your values? I know Joe, Sally, they want to go smoke some pot. Well, we don't smoke pot. You know what I mean? Like, what are your values? Your values have to be so concrete with your kids. But it's also, it's the relationship you're building with your child so they respect you. They respect your opinion.
I feel like that's the number one
takeaway today.
Yes.
A child doesn't want a boss. They don't want a dictator. That's where the sneaking comes from. That's why I was 16 running away, because I had that, right? So if you sit down, if you get to know your child, I'm building the best relationship with you. We got each other's back. But when I say something, it's because I love you. I honor you. Mm-hmm. I want the absolute best for your life. It's different.
It's different.
So
I think it's connection rather than correction, right?
That's it. We're not, I teach this. You are not correcting behavior. You're shaping greatness. Take it and write it down. You're not correcting behavior. You're shaping greatness. Your child is a byproduct of your legacy. It's that real. It's that real.
There is no parenting from the couch here. I mean, it's like, but really.
No, people say like, you're like the Tony Robbins of like,
But it's real, right? Like as parents, we have to wake up. I mean,
that's what we're talking about right now.
I'm in the substance use space. So I hear parents all the time say, smoking marijuana isn't that bad. I mean, we did it when we were younger. And I'm like, oh my God, it's not even the same thing. I mean, marijuana is very different today and it's very, very dangerous. But also, I'm included. I've been guilty of this myself. I think parents buy into this idea that teenagers are supposed to be hard. It's supposed to be difficult. They're all going to do fucked up things. But why are we like setting them up for failure? Why are we like just like setting a platform that they're going to be fucked up? You know what I mean?
It's mediocrity again.
Right.
Keep them,
and it's easier.
But think about this. My question to you is this: is why would you ever have to justify that your child inhaling a substance could potentially be okay? Okay, I'm not going to be on this planet if I, for 1 second, this is how crazy I am, as parenting is my highest priority. If I for 1 second slip up and I let my kids smoke pot and they die in a car accident, and I get emotional, how could I live? Mm-hmm. It's that serious. That serious to me. I would not be able to cope with that. That was a decision that I made and I allowed, and I didn't give them the values to understand the path. I was that child. I had substance abuse around me.
Right.
I had the fake ID. I had all the things.
So you stand firm on all of that. There's no drinking, there's no smoking, there's no fake IDs.
Like we go to Barcelona, like we live in Europe. I let my kids have a little bit of wine. I'm Argentinian. There's not a need, there's not a lack of, I need to go drink and go to college and rage, right? Why are kids going to college? Because they don't want to be in their homes anymore. It's a part of like existence nowadays in the Western culture where it gives them freedom. Wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Don't you want freedom? From a helicopter mom or dad constantly down your fucking throat? Do your homework, go to practice. Like half of these private schools around the nation are colleges. These kids are 16 years old.
Are you anti-college?
Heck yeah. Anti-college all day. I went to college. I got a degree in negotiation and fucking around. Yeah. Right? Like I built my entire business off of learning myself. Right? College set me up. The only reason why I would say is because you're on your own. You got to figure things out. So you could become world ready. You got to learn the life skills.
But kids aren't doing that these days.
Not.
Parents are paying for everything.
They're not. So imagine if your child's
thing.
playing video games in front of you and scrolling all day and on Snapchat. Imagine what they're going to do in college away from you. It stings. It hurts.
Do you ever care if your kids are upset with you? So has there ever, I would imagine there has to have been opportunities or situations where your kids wanted to do something and you said no.
I don't have those.
So no, period, no. Not one of the four has ever wanted.
Anybody could call bullshit in the feed. I don't have those because we have a mutual line of respect.
Right.
When my children get consequences, so for example, the consequences in my home is pulling my kids back on path. Hey, I see you're out of alignment. Here's how we're going to get back on alignment. I'll put together a contract. So I use all my skills, habits, and responsibilities and my value contribution, my happy life system. Yep. And I'll say, I want you to do a sacred fire writing. I want you to, or I'll put it together with them. So we talk about it.
But
so
they don't ever want things that you say no to. They want an e-bike. You think it's too dangerous. They want a phone. It's too early.
No, there's not a fight. There's not a battle. There's an understanding. That's what lies in the middle of our relationship. And I'm not coming at it going, you can't have that because I said so. I'm coming at it because I care about you and just know that it's a lot on my heart right now. If you were to have that, I don't know if I'm able to deal. Like, do you understand? Yeah, I do understand, Mom. Right? When my kids get consequences, Keisha, they'll write me and my husband a letter and say, thank you for making me a better person.
I got a text like that yesterday. I had a little tough conversation with my son.
Right.
And he wrote this morning and just said, thank you for being a good mom. And
right.
I was like,
but those moments of going, because they're seeing you not as the good cop or the bad cop, right? They're seeing you as someone that wants the best for them.
I do think that parents are going to listen and think, holy shit, though, she started this so young, so her kids are accustomed to it, right? If you're taking a 13-year-old who's not accustomed to this, there is going to be pushback.
Yeah, but what's your choice? Stay stuck?
Right. So you're saying, like, fucking saddle up, let's go.
I
even
think
if
the
there
biggest
is
thing is that
pushback.
parents, get out of your own head. Stop overthinking.
Right.
Like, you know what you want for your child. If I showed you the intake forms in my academy and what's happening right now, 99.9% is I want my kids to be happy, but I'm fucking it up. Okay. So on what scale? What scale? What is the... They don't listen to me. They disrespect me. They yell at me. They don't get out of bed. They don't da-da-da-da-da. Okay, now we're talking about, right? Normal living standards. Okay, I have to the extreme to people that are already on the vibe, right? So people that are already on the vibe that are listening to this, I just take you to a 10x. I elevate you into a level of just like,
but I think
catapult,
most
right?
people are in the other bucket.
So in the other bucket is taking responsibility for what is not working.
Right.
This is not working.
I love that though, owning it too as a parent. Like, hey, I've let you down a little bit. And these are some areas
coming forward, authenticity is the highest vibration of truth. Like, I live with my kids in a way where I didn't get it right. Like, I will tell them straight up, I didn't get it right today. Like, I there's multiple times where I'm like, I don't know what that was about, you know? And they're like, Mom, it's all good. But I'm honest, I'm open. I share with them the real, authentic Lauren. I am not a mom. I am not a title. Don't put me on a pedestal. I'm a human in a human experience. I have wisdom to share. I'm your guide, but I'm going to make mistakes as I guide you. But it's coming forward and owning that. And you know, we're in a crisis right now. There is the I don't even know, my husband knows, like the Gen X, the Gen Z, whatever. But there is a major issue right now with the 20-year-olds to the 25-year-olds that are breaking away from their families and disowning their families.
Yes.
I don't know if you know about this.
I do know about this.
And the parents are coming forward and going, I didn't do anything, fucking own up to it. Yes, you did. You put soap in my mouth. You beat me with a wooden spoon. You grounded me. You did it, and it's okay. We could build, but you see this lack of ownership, this lack of responsibility.
But also there's the lack of that for the parents, and then there's extreme entitlement for with the kids, that it's like, all right, maybe we did fuck up a little bit.
Yeah, but that's narcissism. What's narcissism?
Yeah.
Selfishness. What's selfishness? You're not being taught the life skills. You're not being taught the foundations and the values. That's why I go back to living principles.
So your vibe is, or your belief is, it all boils down to the parents at the end of the day.
I mean, it does, because when you really break it down, I mean, I would love to just have kids. I mean, I could get millions of kids on the train like that. Think about it. It's a lot harder to fix a broken adult, right? So if you're taking it all the way back, why do I call it the happy life system? Because I don't believe happiness is butterflies and fairies. I believe happiness is in the struggle. Happiness is in the realness and the rawness and the authentic truth of who you are. Whether you want kids or you didn't, you got them. You want to raise an asshole, right? Like, it's that serious, right? So I talk about the living principles of how your child needs to have the awareness. You asked me about what my system is. It's self-mastery first. And I'm not talking self-mastery as a monk. I'm talking about self-mastery first. It's a state of awareness. I am in charge of my life, right? Social emotional intelligence, right? I'm in charge of my emotions and the people around me, right? My feelings and emotions impact others. People don't have that these days.
Right.
That's why we have this narcissism. It's all me. Oh man, I'm the best. I'm the this, I'm the whatever, because they're not being taught this. It's like me, and then I'm in a family unit. It's we.
Yes.
It's all of us together.
Yes.
So it's, hey, you're out of alignment impacts our entire tribe.
I was raised firmly on that. I have 3 brothers, 6 people in the family. My dad, I grew up no money, but my dad always said, you are a member of this family.
Yes.
How are you going to show up? How are you going to participate?
Yeah.
He also told me, which I tell my kids.
But you said really quick too, you're like, is this all the parent? Like, this isn't parent shaming. Like, this is awakening you. Like, I am an activator. I'm activating you to an activation point of, if you get that into alignment, you eliminate the chaos, you eliminate the mediocrity, you eliminate the frustration. Like, honestly, I'm looking at you eye to eye. Do you want to be a parent that struggles every day and doesn't want to go home? Like, maybe one day my kid's nice to me. Maybe one day he's not. Maybe I can't live like that.
Right. But I think this is more of a movement, right?
Yeah, it is a movement.
This is a movement. And people are going to answer the call if they're
aligned to it.
And if they're ready, they're motivated to do it, right? I mean, you're not going to get...
And I've had so many people too where, like, you know, it's one of those things that You're right, because I call it a movement and it's a lifestyle shift. I say this isn't a trend, this is a lifestyle. So what is it, A, that you're chasing? What is it that you want for your kids? It's all those things. It's you doing the inner work to get clear on what you want to create in your life. And if you're okay just with whatever, then that's one thing, right? But for me, I'm raising world-ready kids that can master themselves and find meaning and purpose in their life so they're not distracted by the darkness. They don't need to go do a drug. They don't need to drink. They don't need to hang out with whatever. They know who they are. They know what they're here for, and they know what fulfills them. That is that's my core responsibility.
And I think because you're so rooted in that why, you don't get tripped up on the other stuff.
No. And you asked me, like, challenging days, absolutely. But my challenging days, and this is very, very transparent, is I am taking on a lot. I'm taking on a lot for humanity. And I get emotional about it because I have, at my core, I just want people to be happy. Like, it's so devastating how many people are going out, how many families are broken, the divorce rate, the children that I see through, like, I have to do everything I can to try to stop it and to give people the path. And so when I talk about my system, it's not advice. It's something you implement every single day. My coaching staff is certified by my system. They implement it in your home. Like, this is a complete revolutionary shift into parenting book, right? I have parenting books, right? Do it yourself and just read a parenting book and try to figure it out. No, I didn't want a podcast. I didn't want a book. I didn't want information. I wanted to know exactly what to do. And that was the dream I had.
Right.
It was 200 pages of IP in the middle of the night at 25 years old. I wrote the entire system. Like, this is my divine assignment to pass the wisdom on. But you asked me, is it the parent? A parent's clarity is going to create the lake of beauty in your home. You can't tell your child to be positive and happy if you're depressed.
Right. You can only give what you have.
Right? Like, and if you're empty every day and you're putting on a mask every day, at one point you're going to pop. And I used to redline. Like, I redlined, I'm working 20-hour days and I'm raising these kids and I'm like, oh shit, I'm out of alignment, right? I don't have the boundaries for myself. I'm not taking care of myself, So a lot of it is you being in tune, you doing the work yourself to really be able, I talk about the proactive versus reactive. If you're in a reactive state and you're calling a to-do list and calling the shots off the fly, you will never sustain. Never.
Right.
If you're in a proactive state, which is foundational morning routine, you asked me. We wake up in the morning. We get up 30 minutes before. That video is going viral. It's at 25 million views. To me, it's basic. There is no digital devices in the home for an hour. It's a value system, right? Like, anchor your mind, get yourself straight, right? All of that is so important for our kids to understand that they can create a path for themselves throughout the day.
And I love just like picturing your home with reggae on, and
that's like our life.
Yeah, I want to completely do that in my house.
I talk about positive vibration, positive uplifting music. Like, you're waking up in the morning, you're setting the tone. So if you're listening to music at 4 hertz or you're at 530, you're going to raise the vibration automatically.
Well, I read somewhere that reggae specifically is like
the positivity. I'll send you my playlist.
There's something very specific, though, about the beats of reggae.
And the words.
Right.
Like, we live in Kauai, Hawaii, and like every morning, we have a sound system, and every morning the music goes on, and it shifts the energy. That's one thing every listener can start to do, is like, in the morning, play some nice reggae and positive music.
My parents did so much right. Like, I could not wait to tell them. And we grew up literally with no money, but my dad had these huge speakers that I think he got from the street, like somebody was throwing them out. And every day we would wake up to like Bill Withers, Stevie Wonder, just blasting.
You know what goes on in so we do reggae too. We do reggae at in the middle of the day, but smooth jazz. So I start the day with smooth jazz, and I get like a lot of the trumpets, and I get all of that because it's the piano, it's the vibration.
When I hear it now at 51 years old, like, it fills your soul. Yes.
But music, and my husband's writing a book right now, and one of his chapters is music is medicine. And so when he's had his like downfalls, he'll go to music, and he's like, that's where the opening is for me. Like, I'm taking this so serious, and really I'm just creating this movie in my mind. And I talk about seriousness as a disease. It steals your joy. So why is my system the happy life system? Why is it find joy in everything? Because it's in that micro moment of going, I need to create a pivot here.
Yes.
Like, I am stuck. Let's play a song. Let's go for a run. Let's jump. Let's do something here, right? But don't keep perpetuating that stuckness.
Yes. I talk about the pivot all the time. I think you have to master the art of pivot to be a parent,
crazy.
you know?
Yeah.
The thing that I love most about this conversation and your system and you is just this like bold approach, because and after this conversation, it makes so much sense, right? It's so rooted in like who you are and what you've been through.
Yeah.
And I love the no excuses thing. I really do. As much as I'm picking and dying for you to give me an out, like just give me a little.
I'm not going to feel sorry for you.
Yeah.
I'm your friend. I'm your soul sister. And I fucking got your back through and through. Like, everyone in my academy is like, I am this close to them. Like, I want the absolute best for your life.
Yeah.
So my husband knows, like, I'm like, that's an excuse, another excuse. Like, I will call you out because that's like my nature.
Yes.
And, you know, people could be listening, like, who is she, whatever. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a psychologist. I'm a real person that did the work to figure it out.
Yes.
And I think that's the main thing about this whole thing, conversation, this beautiful integration is about when you stop making excuses for your life and you start putting in the work, whether it's parenting, whether it's your dreams, you start to feel different. You could talk about the greats. You could talk about Michael Jordan. You could talk about Kobe Bryant. You could talk about Stephen Curry. I wrote this thing to my son about Stephen Curry. Every single person said he would never make it. He went to a D3 school. Everybody. What did he do? He showed up every day, right? Now he's the all-time best gold medalist. You got to put the work in to get the work out.
Yes.
But if you know in your heart, I don't really think my son should be playing that game, but I'll just let him do it. You're letting him down.
You're letting him down. And the other thing I love about this is how you broke it down into all the micro, like the
micro,
because I think people need, like, in order to make a big change like this,
right?
You know, I mean,
but it's not. That's what's so great. I took my husband. My husband was, you know, unconscious. And you know, going through the motions, go to work, I'm a robot, da, 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 da. And literally within a week, he says, I shifted my language. I started using the reframes, like the Happy Life System reframes. We got the system embedded in our home, and he could not believe it started to work. It's small pivots. It's literally 5 minutes a day. It's things that you could do. I'm not giving you, oh, you got to do all these things. No, start with 2 or 3 habits, start to stack. Right? But the idea is that you're starting to shift your lens and get yourself on a path.
Even being open to it is shifting the lens, right?
Yeah.
So I love that. And I am so grateful for this conversation. And I really, really hope that people can really gain what I've gained from this and knowing that there is a better way, right? And that if we can be brave enough to take a peek into this world, that I think it's so beneficial on such a big scale, you know, not just.
And the thing is that, like, it goes back to, like, what is your why?
Yeah.
And, you know, why did I choose parenting? Like, I always like talk to God. I'm like, okay, thank you. Like I came into your office and you were like, we got some problems down there. You're going to have to go and you're going to have to be bold. Right? Like, I'm taking on the hardest thing in the human race. Why do you think no one else has tackled this? Why do you think no one created a parenting manual? Why do you think no one created a system, right? Why? Because do you know how hard it is to, like, get to the parent, then get to the kids? Like, that is tried, true, and tested. Anybody could create a book about doing this, but when you're talking about family, right? When you're talking about family culture, right? This to me is like the new wave, the new paradigm shift.
Yes.
And that's why it's been 7 years. And for everybody listening, I've put up 2.5 million of my own capital. Okay, this is not a joke. This is something that I firmly know, I believe in, I have testimonials behind. It's happening in real time. So it's not about you overthinking and going, oh, no, it's about you saying, what is my why? I want a more harmonistic family. I want to get along with my kids. I want to build connection. I want them to be world ready. I want them to be happy individuals. You don't have a choice. And I wouldn't leave that gap for, like, what if? Right. There's no what if in my home.
Right.
And here's another takeaway is, like, when your kids say to you, when you call your kid's name and they say what, you better stop that.
Mine says yes,
Yes,
ma'am, or
thank
yes,
you.
sir.
I was going to say, don't allow that. That's in your power,
I will
right?
give my husband the credit. He is from Charleston. He is a Southern man. And
No,
my
but nowadays
kids
I
say
hear these
yes,
kids,
sir.
what? I'm like, oh my God, it's just a form of
You know
disrespect.
what? When he adopted my kids, and he insisted that from the beginning, and it was a little odd for me.
Right.
It felt very like militant.
Right,
you know? But as the kids got older and we'd go to a restaurant, let's say, and I have two 12-year-olds, and the waiter would come over and my son would have a friend.
Yeah, he'd say yes, ma'am.
And the friend would say, yeah, or, and my son would say, yes, sir. Like, I couldn't believe how different it felt.
And the level of respect.
Yes. And so I knew pretty early on that he was right, and he's implemented that with all of my kids. And my 12-year-old, if we call his name from downstairs, he'll say, yes, sir. And it's just little things. I'm doing a lot wrong, by the way, but that is one thing we are doing so great.
That's a language reframe. You guys, I am not like a perfect whatever. Like I want to make sure that.
But you also have to call it what it is. I'm going to lead with, we're going to do some things different. And I can own that though.
Yeah.
Like I don't feel terrible about it. I'm not, whatever, but I can own it. Some of it came from a place of me being overwhelmed with my daughter. Some of it came from my own shit, but I definitely got some stuff wrong that I'm going to
own it. Yeah.
Own and redo.
That's all your kids want.
Right.
Like, and I'm telling you, like we are a blended family, tragedy. The more authentic and real you can get, the greater relationship you'll have. And the old school paradigm of parenting is bullshit. Kids sit over there, you're this, right? You're a teenager, you're shit, you're whatever. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. And I will go up against, there was like 3 podcasts that were sent to me about, people wanted me to be on. And it's a guy saying like, you fucking tell your kids. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
No, we're human beings. Look at the animal kingdom, right? Like everybody has a role. Everybody wants a sense of belonging. Mm-hmm. It's who we are as humans. Like your kids listen to you because they're scared of you. That's why they listen to you.
Yes.
That's not what I want. I want a real authentic relationship where on the downfalls, on the mistakes, on the fail, whatever it is, they can come and they can have a resource and someone to share in that experience and help them through it.
Well, this has been eye-opening, amazing. If parents out there want to know more, if they want a real life experience, if they want to have a better relationship with their kid, how can they find you? How do they find the system?
All the things.
Well,
Instagram handle. So it's Lauren Magers, Magers, and then official.
Okay.
That's like the main account right now. And then my academy. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be doing live events probably 2 times a month. And so I go in and I basically present the Happy Life System. I give you teachings and whatever. And then I give you the opportunity to get into the academy. So I usually create cohorts of seats because I'm super intentional about, like I said, like this isn't just information, it's about you changing your life. So the people that are coming through are like full body yes. So I'm going to do the live event. So I'll start promoting it on my Instagram.
Okay.
But really just Instagram. And then my main website is the Lauren Magers, and again, Magers. And I have 2 offers. I have the subscription, which is my Happy Life Club. And basically Happy Life Club is all of this distilled down into 1 teaching a month. So it's basically a membership. And so I teach you 1 principle. I wrote the books for you. I give you my playbook and you focus on 1 thing at a time. Now my Happy Life headquarters is my full system. That's like the all-in 8 pillars. You have side-by-side coaching. They're implementing the full system with you. So it's whether or not like where you want to be on the journey, but those are the 2 things.
I love it. I'm definitely going to be passing this on to all the parents I work with in my facility too.
Yes, so good.
So make sure you subscribe to Cake for Dinner, and thank you so much for joining us today.
That was so amazing. You are just such a light, and thank you.